Welcome to Frenchie and the Coach. I'm Paul Monahan. I'm the coach. I wrote this book. This book is called The Most Important Game. My mission is to help you to play better, struggle less, and enjoy the game a lot more. You can get this book at Amazon. It's in Kindle. It's in paperback, hardcover, and audio as well. Hey, that guy over there on the left, that's Justin French. You can call him Frenchie. All his buddies do. And Frenchie, you and I are going to do this again this week. We're going to help unpack the mental game dynamics that show up on the PGA Tour. And we have a very special guest today. Over to you, Frenchie.
Yeah. Hey, good to see you, man. Definitely encourage people to get your book. Yeah. Today we've got a good friend of mine I've known for a lot of years, that I'm excited to have on our podcast. My man Tag Ridings, University of Arkansas alum, turned pro, and I can't believe this, 1997. I looked up some stuff on Tag, 239 events on the PGA Tour, 296 events on the Korn Ferry Tour, and now the last 2 years has been doing this thing on the Champions Tour. Tag, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man, it's Tag, your story is interesting, because you've been around golf for a long time. You have been on tour, been off tour, been on the Korn Ferry, won twice on Korn Ferry. The coolest part about that, they're about 20 years apart, which I don't know very many guys that can say that have kept their game for that long and have kept after it like that. To win twice on a Korn Ferry that far apart just proves you're a golf junkie. But I guess the first question I would have for you is, tell us your kind of how your story in golf has gone and how you've ended up now, with some full-time status on the Champions Tour.
Well, I've kind of been that career grinder type of guy. I've had some success at all levels. I've enjoyed playing with. There are very few guys I haven't played with that you've heard of.
That's true.
Whether it was Scotty Scheffler on the Korn Ferry Tour, or Xander Schauffele was my partner in New Orleans. Jason Day coming up, and I'm playing with superstars of ages gone by every day out here, Ernie and BJ and, the Alkers. And I'm playing with all these guys up and down the list of age to, the new guys, the young guys. There's only the last 2 seasons have I not been exposed to the youngest of young crowds. So I think I've played with almost everybody and have gotten, kind of a feel for how everybody does what they do in different ways.
Yeah, you said something there that I 100% agree with. From a grinder standpoint, that's been your career. You've always worked on the game. You're always changing stuff around. You're not afraid to try new stuff, which we talk about on our podcast a lot. Just having an open mind on, like, hey, yeah, maybe I should try that. Maybe I should do this. And just having the ability to do that, I think, has kept you relevant for a long time. And like you said, have gotten to play with everybody.
Yeah, and from a golf standpoint, I've had to keep trying new stuff and to try to improve at all times to get to a better level of being more consistent and successful. And as much as I admire the guys that don't change equipment for years on end or putters for lifetimes, I get it. I would love that, to have something I was that in love with that continued to work for that long. That'd be amazing. But I've had times in my life where these irons are perfect, or I love this driver setup. But man, it's been 30 years, so equipment's changed so far. I don't think there's anybody that's gotten to this age that hasn't had to make some serious changes. And so there's a lot of equipment junkies on the Champions Tour.
Yeah.
I may not be the only one. I may be the most drastic version of that, but I'm certainly not the only one. There's several that I like to talk to and bounce ideas with back and forth.
Tag, what's the talk about the change in equipment over the years, and say the biggest change in the last 5 years that's allowed you to play at the level that you're playing at right now?
Well, the biggest change for me was probably just a little over 10 years ago, was maybe longer than that even now, but I've always had a lot of back issues, lower back, and I'm fairly tall, but I have kind of short arms, so I played many years on my career successfully, consistently with standard length clubs. Um, but it was a consistent back issue every year. And finally just came a year when I said, this is making me grumpy. It's making me a poor husband and a poor father, and I want to feel better. And I have to make the change. And it was a long time, difficult change to find the right shaft and the right setup and how to make this thing work at an over length uh, position. But just going a quarter inch over has made a drastic difference in my back health. So, and that's, I still work on the back stuff week in and week out. When I play a lot, I still have to do everything possible to stay healthy, but it's allowed me to play a whole season without going down.
That's awesome. I wanna go back to this idea that Frenchie kinda brought up, this idea of, like, you've played over 500 rounds of in on different tours, and this idea that you're showing up and you're grinding it out, and you're just absolutely you're committed to the journey and to the process. I we again, we talk about grit quite a bit. Can you talk about how you actually got to full status on the Champions Tour, which is really a very difficult tour to arrive at, and certainly from a full status perspective?
Well, beginning of last year, I had a lot of support, just emotional support from the fact that these sponsors, Rhino being the main one, and then Sub 70 equipment. Uh, he's been a great emotional support, and Stitch Golf. Those guys support me, just really saying, hey, we're on your side. We think you're going to do well. Get after it. Do your best. And having that backing and having that support, not just financially or whatever, called with the being able to pay expenses and go out and chase Mondays. I mean, that's the fun part of doing this.
Yeah.
You got to get through a Monday,
Yeah.
and
Are there air quotes there for you in that's the fun part? I'm sensing that.
yeah, definitely fun.
Yeah.
Uh, but to get through one gets really fun, and I
Yeah.
did that pretty quickly, not right away. I missed the first three in the fall after I turned 50, and then I got going a little bit in the spring at Tucson. I got through, and I didn't play great at Tucson on a course that really doesn't match my style. But I finished 28th. I kept working hard all week, and um, that was like, okay, not my best week, but 28th, that's not terrible when you're playing with you know Hall of Famers. It was pretty decent, and so that gave me a little bit of more stable feeling. Like, okay, this could go okay. Um, and then I missed the next one, but I'm under the week after that into um, the Gallery Classic in Palm Springs,
Palm Springs.
and
Mm.
I played really well that week, and I finished second. So that was kind of like, okay, there's a springboard, and that set up the rest of the year.
Tag, you said something right there that, getting I know your story probably better than most people do because we're friends, but, getting in on doing the Monday thing, that's the hardest way to get. I think the Champions Tour, to be honest, is the hardest tour in the world to get on. And then once you get on it, to stay on it just because of the number of guys that are there. And you did it the hard way. You earned your way on, going through the Mondays, but you said something playing with Hall of Famers. Did you feel that when you got out? Obviously, you played golf with everybody in the world, and you've been around for 30 years. Even with that, did you feel that some like, "Hey, man, do I belong out here?
For
Is this
sure,
where I'm
for
supposed to
sure.
be?" And
Uh,
the reason I ask that is because I don't think we realize you guys are humans, and I think sometimes we forget that you have the same, fears and emotions and feelings and stuff on a golf course that we do. And a lot of guys don't talk about that, but for you to say, "Hey, yeah, I felt that," I think that's a big deal.
Well, I did feel it. I got to the range in Tucson, and I looked behind me, and Miguel Angel Jimenez is back there doing his little warm up. I'm kind of like doing my stretch, going, "Look, I can do this one," and but
So good.
my caddy's been out here for a long time. He's a great guy named Andy Davidson, and he opened up the rapport right then, right away with Miguel. Said, Tag's over here trying to do your move, and Miguel's happy to talk and conversate and just be an open guy, and he's a great one. And there's many of those guys out here that you know we are competitors. We can be steely minded and tough to talk to on a Sunday round, morning, whatever. But I think as time's gone on, everybody out here's aged like a fine wine, and you can break through that shell a little easier nowadays and have a nice conversation, and which is not so easy on the PGA Tour when everybody's not done proving themselves yet. But out here, it's a little bit easier. It's not easy with everybody, and it certainly gets tougher on Sundays. But man, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm on the range next to Bernard, and there's the tough German right there. And but I've also gotten him to open up, and I ask him a question. If you ask him a question and respectfully want his opinion, he'll give it to you. And
Yeah.
he's very kind about it. So um, it's a cool feeling out here, but it is definitely something you go, okay, this is where I'm at. This is awesome.
Yeah, and I'm assuming as time's gone on and now you're in you got to the playoffs last year, top 30, right now, kinda hopefully gonna trend in the right direction in the next few events, feeling more like you belong and that you're where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, my game's definitely been pretty decent lately, and it's showing that I'm feeling a little more comfortable. Um, I'm working on some really good stuff fundamentally that's just basic, that's helping me, and I'm going, well, why didn't I work on this basic stuff like 20, 30 years ago? Well, I'm learning.
Still learning, still learning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Tag, you said something about playing on Sundays and how things change a little bit on Sundays. So, quick story: I live in the Cleveland area. I had a chance to get over to the colleague event at Firestone and walk 18 on Sunday. And you and I actually, this is gonna sound a little stalky, right,
It is,
Frenchie?
it is. Because here's what I told him.
I don't remember this.
I'm
I
gonna help
know.
you right
I'm
here.
gonna help you.
I told him, I said, "Man, look, he was texting me. I'm like, just say hi to Tag. He goes, it's Sunday, man. I don't want to mess with him. He's in the hunt, all that stuff. I'm like, dude, just tell him who you are.
I'm
So,
like, the man, the artisan is at work. I mean, I'm not going to interrupt him,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a moment I got to tell you about it, and I'm sure you'll laugh. So I actually watched. So you were playing with Darren Clark, and were you playing with on Sunday were you playing with Yen on Sunday and Clark?
Yang.
Yang?
I think it was Yang.
Why,
Yeah,
Yang?
Yang and
Yeah,
Clark.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. So I watch you guys come up 7, the par 3, and you
Yeah.
actually hit a shot into the right-hand rough, pin is way left. Happened to be kind of right where I was standing on 7. And the rough, I was telling everybody that I knew I'm like, the rough on Sunday at Firestone, they had gotten a little bit of weather. They had watered. Super sticky. Am I
Yeah.
right?
It's
I mean,
off
was
the
that
ground all
rough
week.
like,
It was raining all week. It was super wet.
oh my God, that rough was so penal. And so you get up and you knock it to like 2.5 feet and make par from like 80 feet. I mean, I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it
it
was a
was
good
great.
shot. I remember that one. I was
Remember that?
happy with that
Okay.
one. Yeah.
Very good. So I don't know. I'm kind of like texting with Frenchie, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, he just Tag just made a great play on 7." So now you tee off on 8, and I'm walking up on 8, and you actually got close to the left hand side, left rough,
Yeah.
and here's Frenchie. He's like, "Oh, you gotta say something," or, you gotta say hi or whatever. And again, I'm like pushing back. And so anyway, I was just like, "Hey man, great up and down over there," and you know, Sunday was a bit of a day for you. I'm gonna ask you to talk about that, but, it just was like, you were like, "Oh, yeah, but I got work to do, buddy, so we're not chatting right now." So, which I totally appreciate.
I
So,
think I just ripped it into the tree off the tee and dropped down about 100 yards off the tee and laid up to the fairway.
you actually did. Yeah.
Yeah.
You actually did. I do remember that. Yeah.
Oh man, what are you
What's your
bringing that up
devil?
for, Paul? That's tough. That's tough bringing that up, man.
That's
At least
alright.
it's the hardest hole on the course. So if you're gonna bogey one, that was the one to do it.
Yeah, exactly. You're not losing a lot of shots to the field on that hole.
No.
So, but I do wanna ask about Sunday because Sunday was a day where, Zach Johnson ultimately, kinda ran away with it, but
Mhm.
that wasn't preordained because it was tight early on. I think you were 2 groups ahead of his group.
Yeah.
And, I'm curious about, like, what happens on a Sunday when maybe you feel like you don't have your A game or like you run into a course that is just incredibly difficult. That's a major for you guys. So they
Yeah.
set it up really hard or somebody's just an absolute buzzsaw. So anyway, I just threw a lot at you there, but curious if you talk about what Sundays are like when you're feeling like it's slipping away a little bit.
Well, I mean, that particular course, man, it's the best one we play. It really is. We all talked about it the next week when we got to another place and we're like, man, how good was that?
Yeah.
We all also remember to comment, hey, when we say our top favorite course is top 5 on our list, almost nobody remembers to say Firestone,
Uh-uh.
but it's ridiculous because it's fantastic and it should be in everybody's top 5. And I think everybody that's played it will say, yeah, it's in my top 5 if you ask them
So
because it's
good.
so good. But, that particular Sunday, my driver was not doing what it was supposed to be doing. I had gone through a deal. Thursday, I wasn't driving it good. I get towards the late in the round in 14, and I've got some lead tape all over every one of my clubs, as Frenchie will tell you. And this
He does.
particular, I wrapped the
I do,
hosel a little
I
bit.
do
Lead tape aficionado would be one of my handles on
It
a
is.
big
That is
Yeah,
that is one of
nice.
your handles,
uh,
brother, for sure.
but I had about 3.5 grams of lead around the hosel of my driver, and man, I drove it great when I first put it on there last fall, and uh, this particular day, it had peeled off after the tee shot on 14, and it was, just kind of flying out in the wind, and it wasn't off, but it was trying to come off. So I didn't know the rule specifically. So I called the rules official. He happened to be sitting over there. He's like, "Oh yeah, you can just put it back on, or you can take it off, or you can replace it." And I go, "Oh, that seems like a lot of good options for me because I'm a
Yeah.
lead guy." But I was really
This is on
afraid there
by
were
the way,
fewer options than that. But anyway,
and this
long
is on
story
this is
short,
on Thursday, Tag?
that's
Or
on Thursday.
yeah,
So
okay.
I just put it back on, finished the round, no big deal. But I go to the range afterwards and I take that tape off and I retape it and I put a little bit less on and I start striping it. I'm like, ooh, what's this? I had
Found
too much
something.
on. And so Friday, I striped it. I shoot 66, on literally basically the hardest, best driving course of the year
It
that you can really only take advantage of if you're hitting the driver well. And it was easy, I had a great day. And, I was like, okay, I'm ready for this rest of this week. And things kind of went a little bit sideways on Saturday with it again. It wasn't as good again. And then Sunday it was still leaking and I was having trouble with it. And that's just kind of sets the whole framing of that golf course. There's no faking it with 3-wood around there. There's no faking it with, you know, barely missing the fairway and getting away with it. It's either you're in the rough or you're not. And so that Sunday was like, okay, I got to grind this one out. I got to try to hit some fairways to get at some opportunities. But if I'm not, man, I got to work hard to make these fours. So you saw one of those rounds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I saw that with everybody on Sunday, and they were struggling to find the fairway's hard to find. I mean, it's narrow, and the runouts aren't favorable. I mean, so it's
Yeah.
you guys have your hands full. Just kind of a follow up there, like, um, how do you take a week like that where I think tied for 13th, like that's a in a major, right?
Yeah.
How do you take a week like that and put that into perspective? Whereas, Sunday was maybe not the day you wish you would have had, but then you look at the broad picture and kind of the broader view, and what a good week, right?
It was a good week. It was really disappointing though because of one particular shot that you may have not even seen. Uh, I hit the fairway on 16, which is the monster par 5 there,
Yes, right.
and you can't get there in 2. I mean, especially when it's wet like that.
Cannot.
So it's just a layup. It's just a 5 aggressive, 6 normal, 7 iron conservative layup over this cross bunker into the flat piece of fairway. The pin's tucked in the corner over the water.
Yep.
It's a simple layup. But I made a decision there that I didn't think through probably well enough. I noticed on the range that my 6 iron was coming loose a little bit. And I hit it a couple of times and it was fine. But there was about a little 16th of an inch gap underneath the ferrule. And I go, let me feel the ferrule. No, it's not the ferrule. Okay. Ding, ding, ding. 6 iron's an issue. But I hit a couple good shots with it and I go, okay, it's probably all right. But my first inclination on that shot was 5 iron, but that was a little over aggressive.
Mhm.
And, I go, no, let's not be over aggressive. So I pulled 6 and I hit it and I laid the sod over it and it went about 100 yards right into the middle of the cross bunker.
Oof. Oh, man.
And at that point, I go to myself, that could be buried up in the lip, or we're just laying up out of this thing.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, 6 is fine, whatever you do. Then I get in the cross bunker and I got a good lie. And the pin's on the right, and the slope of this cross bunker's on the left side, and I got to go right anyway. So I'm like, okay, got a good lie. Just a 7
Gotta
iron.
move right.
It's fine. Just
Yep.
I can't aim it at the middle of the green like you'd like to. But so what? If I miss the green to the right, I can probably get it up and down. My short game's been immaculate all week, so wasn't worried about that. But I lay the sod over that one a little bit. Not so much laying the sod into the bunker, but just catch a little too much sand, gets steep, and the ball goes in the water. So there's kind of auto double from dead
Mhm.
center in the fairway on a simple hole. And it was just like, oh, why didn't I think through
So
that 6 and pull? I
so
could have hit
hold on.
7.
So
A
you
5 would have been totally fine.
you're
I could have
telling
hit
me
3 wood in the water and still saved a shot.
you
Yeah,
finished 13th though. Hold on a sec. You finished 13th in a major. And right now you're going over a shot that you hit when you got some stuff going on with a 6 iron and you hit it better. And that's the one thing, man, we are all the same. We don't remember all the good stuff. I watched so many good shots from you that week on TV. Like you hit your short game was incredible, by the way. Like you hit some pitch shots and I'm like, dude, next time I see Tag, I'm asking him how he does that one because you hit
there's a
some
fancy one over the back of 10 green I never thought I'd pull off. That
you
was
hit
just
some shots, dude, that I'm like, "Man, this is why when we play together, it ticks me off you beat the heck out of 'em because you can put it anywhere and you're gonna get it up and down." But you
well, if
remember
Tyler was there, I'd probably hold it, but he ain't
yeah,
showing up.
Tyler, if our boy which shout out to Tyler Thompson, a good friend of ours, is how I'm thankful that we know him. He introduced me to Tag. He and Tag played on the mini tours. That shows you what Tag's been on. He been on every tour, by the way. But what's crazy is you remember that, and you're still talking a little bit about that. So to get over that, you got to, like, change your mindset and be like, "Okay, hey, golf's gonna do that to me, but I have to look at, like, what from" so my question is that comes from that is, like, what's your process that you do to get through that stuff when you do hit a spot where you've hit a couple shots that you're like, "Man, I haven't hit that shot in 6 months or 2 years or whatever. What is it that you do to get over that?
Well, it's not blocking it out. It's not going, oh, everything's fine. I'll probably never do that again. It's okay. Why?
Yep.
What made me make that decision? Break it down, search it out. Look, it's even the guys that have the most fantastic mental attitudes out here, and there's several of them. They're pretty positive. They all put in the work too. And, I can remain positive now because my 6 iron is fixed. I've hit it again, Um, I've gone in and searched out the issue, the problem that happened there. The next time some piece of equipment is acting a little funny, I'll be thinking a little more, okay, that's my 15th club. I don't necessarily get to use that one unless it's just a must have, and I knew that. We all know that, but it's really, that's something you got to remind yourself of. And I got a great reminder for the rest of my career right
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
but it's okay. Like, yeah, I beat myself up over a little bit, but, to get over that emotion of that is, have I instituted the fix?
Mm.
Yes. You know, have I instituted a process to where it probably won't happen again, even if that situation occurs? Yes. So, and then we move on, and then we can be happy again.
Yeah. Then you just go back to doing what you're doing. You said earlier, you've been working on some fundamental stuff. What do you mean when you say that? What are you working on?
Well, mostly lately, been working on keeping my stance a little bit narrower. I have a tendency to always get wide. My dad told me that when I was about 14, and I'm
Yeah.
starting to listen to him now. uh,
Nice.
you know, it does a lot of great things for my weight shift and my posture and just being able to turn. I get too wide, I can't turn as well,
Oh,
uh, especially through it. So uh, I take a cue on the range and it helps me flight the ball down. And I love watching the guys that I know flight the ball great, like Boo Weekley that played great that day on Sunday, and Firestone he finished
He
second.
did.
And,
Yeah, he did.
but he's a perennial great flighter of the golf ball, solid iron striker, plays great in wind, all types of golf courses. And, his feet are not very far apart. He's not a small guy,
No, he's a
but
big
he
guy.
doesn't he
Yeah.
doesn't get up there and go big wide stance.
Doesn't.
Same with Chad Campbell, another one of my favorites to watch flight the golf ball.
for
He's got
sure. Yeah.
his heels are maybe 6 inches apart on a 4 iron, and I'm going, my L wedge is that far or more. So, there's some guys out here with some wide stances like Padraig and Stuart Sink. Um, but, I play practice round with those guys at the British, and they're large humans. They have a lot longer legs than I do. I'm not small, but these are very large athletes,
Yeah, they're
both of
big
those
they're big
guys.
dudes for sure. Yeah.
So, I don't need to be copying those guys. So, but working on simple like that, some tempo stuff, always trying to keep the club in front of my turn, and that way I turn. But having a narrow stance helps promote that too. So
Yeah. That's
basically,
good.
a lesson I got, 35 years ago is coming to fruition.
Dad's finally getting smarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Tag, we're gonna start to wrap this thing up. These podcasts go really quick. I'm gonna pass over to Frenchie here in just a second for some kind of last minute questions. But one of the things we like to do is maybe leave our viewers and listeners who play the game in a very different way or on a very different level than you and your peers do. But like, what are some things that you maybe would tell younger players that might help them to manage their own mental and emotional dynamics when they play? Maybe something you've shared with younger players, or even sort of this question of like, what would you tell your younger self? Maybe that's a way to ask it.
That's a good way to ask it. I would have said, do that process of, when that emotional fire is there from upset or anger or resent what happened out there, use that to fuel not dispersing the energy, but where does that energy need to go? What is the problem that's causing this? You know, learning more about equipment at an earlier age would have been hugely helpful to me. Um, and, you know, finding an expert that knew that to learn from, and if there's something in your swing, it's probably not as much as you think. It's, take care of your body, stay balanced, but pinpoint the detail that is the issue, and then just go attack it with that energy. Don't waste that good emotional energy on just anger or frustration. Use it, in a positive way. That's
Yeah,
what
love that.
that'd been good for
French,
me.
you wanna bring us home here?
Yeah, I can do that. I got a few quick questions I want to ask you. They're kind of a little rapid fire for you that I think you'll enjoy.
All
The
right.
the first one I got, just because I know you. How many caddies have you had in your life?
Ooh, I can't count them all. Can't count them all. They don't usually make it too long. I've had 3 really, really good ones in my
Okay,
career. Uh, my first really good one was my rookie year on the Korn Ferry Tour, Red Whitlock. He had won 11 events before meeting me as a caddy
nice.
on the Korn Ferry Tour, and not any with the same player. He could bring it. He was
Wow.
a very steady influence. He had a method, and it was providing the player with consistency.
Mm,
Didn't matter what you made on the hole before, he was going to show up and do the same thing on the next shot. And that was easy to lean on. Um, Second really good caddy I had is Jimmy Springer. He's a great guy, just reliable as the day is long, and just fun to be around. And we got along like peas and carrots. And the guy I got right now, Andy Davidson, is a great caddy. He's just a lot of fun to hang out with and chat with every day. And we 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 talk and text on days off even. So
oh,
it's
good,
just good chemistry. He's a smart guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. So and
sweet.
he's reliable. All the stuff you need. So
Yeah,
I've
you.
had a lot in between that are trying to be hard workers and been pretty good for a little while and whatnot. But those 3 really stand out.
Yeah, gotcha. Jeff Lee's got to make that list somewhere from here in Springfield, right?
Jeff Lee, he can tell you which way the wind's blowing.
Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. Good friend of ours, Paul, that caddied for him here in town, and I'm just surprised he made it
Nice.
through the week. Yeah,
He
so
did great until the second to last hole. Oh my gosh, he was awesome until which way is the wind blowing? It's not downwind. It's
yeah, no, I
downwind,
love
Ted.
that. I
Oh
love
no,
that
no, I
story.
just said it's not.
Yeah, he got the win wrong. Yeah, that he still haunts him today. You said Firestone's in your top 5, man. Can you tell us your 3 favorite golf courses?
Yeah. Southern Hills, Tulsa,
Oh,
Oklahoma.
ooh.
Just played it last week.
Had it there a little bit. Yep.
Awesome.
You can't put anything against that. That's a great place.
Yep,
Um, Boy, there's a lot fighting for those top spots,
I
but
agree.
I got to play Fisher's Island Club one time. That
Okay.
just really opened my eyes. It was a gorgeous layout. Um, Obviously great setting, but really neat holes, fun holes, a lot of fun. And then probably any Mackenzie course could fit the bill next,
Yeah.
but you know, shoot, pick one of so many good ones.
There's a bunch.
Yeah, but I've probably put Spyglass in there in my top 3.
Nice. Yeah,
I mean,
that's a
if
good
you
one.
want to beat yourself up, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, yeah, it's, Spyglass is a good one for sure, and then the last question I got, just because I know you're a junkie, how many sets of irons do you have?
Dang, I can't believe you asked that.
I knew not to
um,
go putters, because I think it's probably more irons.
well, no, it's been more putters over the years, but I've probably got 15 sets in my garage.
Alright.
Now, mind you, only 3 of them have shafts in them. Like they've been pulled and re-glued
Oh,
and
yeah.
taken apart.
Yeah, and he
But
does all that on his own, Paul. He does a lot of this stuff on his own, just so you know.
Love that.
Frenchie, I glued 3 of them up yesterday in
I
my
know
bathroom.
you've
Nice.
done it at my house. I know,
Yeah,
man. I
yeah.
love it.
I'm still doing it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. Hey, look, I know Paul's gonna wrap us up, but Tag, we can't thank you enough for taking time. We know you're busy. You got practice
Yeah, it
to
was
do
having fun.
today,
Happy to do it.
and man, just as a friend, I got to tell you, it's been a joy to watch you on the Champions Tour, and I can't wish you enough for the rest of the year. And you are right, man. As a friend, you are right where you're supposed to be, doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you, Frenchie.
yeah, and you got a lot of people rooting for you here in Springfield and across the country. But
The
you,
food capital of America.
yeah, it's been fun to be a part of your journey, and just wanna tell you thanks, man. I appreciate you coming on today.
Thanks, Frenchie. Appreciate you.
And I'll echo that as well, Tag. Really great. Sorry I was stalking you at the Firestone. I feel sort of bad about that. Uh, but no,
Well,
listen,
it brought me decent luck on the 1 hole. That's perfect.
absolutely. There you go. I appreciate that. Yeah. So no, it's French and I, we do these and we have these conversations, and our mission really is to put some ideas out there that the average golfer can take away and change their game, maybe play a little bit better, maybe suffer a little bit less, and have a lot more fun playing the game that they love. So I think we accomplished that today. So we really appreciate it. Hey, I'll say this to the viewers, to the listeners: smash the like button, subscribe if you want to see more of this. Of course, we're over on Spotify as well, and great to be with you, Frenchie. Great stuff this week, buddy. We'll see you next week.
Sounds good.
Thanks, guys.